Hello, everyone. My name is Ned Dennison. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. We have two swimmers who've recently completed big marathons, and they each had a very different method of preparation. So I think for folks out there looking at a big swim, it might give you some hints or some objective basis to make some decisions on your own. So I'll start with Paul. Please introduce yourself, Paul, where you are, who you are, and the big swim you completed.
Okay, hi Ned, thanks for having me. So my name is Paul de Waard. I'm from the Netherlands, and I my biggest swim is North Channel that I did to complete the Irish Triple Crown. I'm living in Ireland for 10 years, so I swim with Ned around Sandy Cove. That's where I did most of my training, and being a part of the Sandy Cove community kind of pushed me to go a bit further every time, ending up in becoming a channel swimmer from being a dipper. So that was a big journey.
Okay. Eduardo, before we get to you, Paul's journey is worth mentioning that he's one of the very few people who completed the North Channel, not having done the English Channel first. Eduardo, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Eduardo Collazos. I am from Lima, Peru. Of course, I am an open water swimmer. Last year, 2025, I completed Cook Strait and Tsugaru Strait to complete the Ocean 7. That's what I have swum recently.
Okay. And again, starting with Paul. Paul, tell us about your childhood swimming and your open water for the previous 5 years, just briefly.
Childhood swimming was I joined a swimming club when I was 16 with my older brother. I kept going back to the pool. I wasn't the best swimmer, but I was very social with everyone. And the reason why I kept training 3 times a week was just the club, the community, the people there. And I just loved going and seeing my friends. And so this is how I got into competitive swimming from 16 to about early 20s. I think I was around 24 when I discontinued my membership because I started working as a chef in hospitality, working Sundays, and I couldn't join the competitions anymore. So that's kind of went out the swimming kind of went down the hill for a bit. My specialty was 50 fly. I never liked swimming in the open water. There was no sea swimming in the Netherlands at that stage. It was all rivers and rivers and lakes. I didn't like the murky brown water, so I had no interest in the open water then. Just 50 fly, 100 freestyle was my thing. And then I stopped swimming and I picked it up in 2019 after moving to Ireland because I hadn't had many friends in Ireland at that stage. And then suddenly, when I turned up to the beach and joined the swimming group, I had a load of friends. So that's why I kept on going back to the sea, just socializing actually. And then it all got out of hand.
And then big swims before your North Channel.
um, Galway Bay, IJsselmeer, and Fastnet. So Galway Bay and Fastnet would be part of the Irish Triple Crown. And IJsselmeer is a big lake in the Netherlands, very shallow and choppy, and probably one of my toughest swims, maybe even tougher than the North Channel, that IJsselmeer swim, because I underestimated it. Maybe I hadn't done the training, and I was thinking about giving up about halfway through. So I didn't, but in the North Channel, I hadn't a second that I was going to give up.
So Galway Bay is about 10K. And the other two swims are about 20K. And then your North Channel was 32K-ish, depending on who you want to believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
Eduardo, for you, your childhood swimming and your kind of first big marathons and how you got there.
Okay. I swam for Peruvian national team since I was 12 years old until I was around 22 when I quit. Then I was beginning my career as a dentist, working at the age of 38. I was very big, very heavy. And for a healthy situation, I came back to the pool. And my coach at that time not only encouraged me to swim, master swimming meets, but also to go to the ocean. He always told me that there were such a nice swims in the ocean. And he taught me about Daniel Carpio. This is a Peruvian swimmer who is also an honorary member of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame, because he was the last Peruvian to swim English Channel in 1954. So I was with that, I was very curious about it, and I wanted to be the second one. So I contact Nora Toledano, she's my coach actually, in order for me to receive information about this swim, and if I was good enough to try this swim. And we went to swim the English Channel 2019. And then the year prior to that, the year before, 2018, we swam 20 bridges around Manhattan. 2019, we swam, as I told you, English Channel. 2020 was the pandemic year, so we couldn't swim anything. 2021, we swam Catalina Channel, and we completed the Triple Crown. 2022, we went to North Channel, to see North Channel. 2023, we swam Molokai Channel in Hawaii, and 2025 and 2024, Gibraltar Strait, and 2025, both Cook Strait and Tsugaru Strait. And that's the way we completed the Ocean 7.
Paul, let me ask you about your training before kind of the North Channel. You know, who was your coach? What kind of relationship did you have? Was it a private coaching? Were you part of a group? Did you pay them? And did your coaching involve stroke work, or was it simply meter targets and things like that?
Yeah. Who's going to answer me?
Paul?
Paul, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So my coach is a well-known marathon coach, Elise Burns from Cork. She coached, you probably have a list of how many channel swimmers she coached, English channel swimmers. I think it's around 25 or more successful channel swimmers. And like she has a reputation of being the person to talk to in Cork if you want to swim a channel. I just didn't know her at the time when I signed up for the North Channel. I was training with Brian at that stage, who was already coached by Elise. I saw Brian doing his 35, 45K weeks, and I thought, that's not for me. I'm just gonna do my own thing. So because the pool where Elise is coaching is on the way to work, I signed up for this pool called District, because I thought I need to make most of my time so I can swim halfway my commute to work, so I don't need to do detours, and every 10 minutes I spent in the car I want to spend in the pool. So I went to this pool District, and I turned up in the morning, and there was one swimmer I knew there, and there was Anthony Sloman. So I jumped in his lane, and then suddenly I was told to put all my stuff on the other side, take off my watch, and do what I was told. And then I was told to come in the next Monday to a meeting and go from there. So I hadn't planned to find a coach. And then the Monday after, I was sitting in a room with 3 other people who wanted to swim the channel. And I was told that I had to do 35K a week minimum. And it all went from there. I did what I was told. I was held accountable for what I'd done. So every week I had to text my distance. And I think most important for me there was this group, these meetings, where we were with each other in a small room, sharing everything about swimming and not swimming. And so I got so much support out of the other swimmers that were in that group. That was fantastic. Then there was swimming lessons. So that was basically just doing drills with Elise 2 mornings in the week. So things that I wouldn't think of, like swimming with one flipper or one pedal. Things that make you uncomfortable. And I think there was plenty of things in the training that made me uncomfortable. 8-hour pool swims, and I think the longest week we've done was 70K. 28K in the pool. What else? 15 hours of swimming in 3 days. Actually, I think the idea was that you kind of hit the wall, but not in your big swim. So you do it in your training, and then you know how to deal with it and push through. So
Did you pay her, Paul?
I didn't pay Elise for this. I did something in return, which is I picked a charity which was close to her and close to myself, and I raised a good amount of money for the charity, and that was kind of a way to thank her, and also like I'm gonna swim it, so I might as well do something good.
And did you go to any weekly meetings where you hadn't made the target, and what was the reaction?
Basically, the agreement was if you don't make your 35, or it was a 45K week, it was 45 obviously, then you had to add that distance to the week after. But look, we were some weeks it just when you are ill or you're going through some things in life that you can't help, or like it. Yeah, it's still your own training. So we were held responsible, but she's also a kind. So, so we got away with it. Some people got away with less than I did. Like I know, and some people got a bit more push. But she treated each swimmer individually by character. So some people need to be a bit more pushed, and some people maybe need to be a bit let go sometimes. Just there was a lot of mental coaching as well. So I think that's why we all got a different treatment to get us in the best place we could be before the big swim. So, and that no one is the same. Same with feet. Like we didn't have a feet plan signed up to us, or how do we eat during the training or in between the training. It's different for every swimmer, so we kind of figured it out ourselves. But within the training swims, so we try different things in the pool and in the open water. And we got a lot of support out of each other. Like we were all experienced swimmers, and we had Anthony who already did the channel. So we shared all our ideas, and then one would have peaches, and the other one would have dates, and the other bananas. And I think we all were on the same carb drink, mostly maltodextrin. But and there was stroke work. Yeah, we did 2 mornings in the week, swimming lessons. But like I signed up quite late for coaching, about 8 months before my swim, and you're to change one thing in your stroke is taking so many hours in the pool to make a small adjustment. So at that stage, it was just better to keep on doing what I was doing, because you're not going to change someone's stroke in a few months' time. But there were of course tips, and I did make some improvement, but it was more focused on distance and getting the distance done and being more than prepared than you need to. So we weren't preparing for an easy day in the channel. We were preparing for a tough day, and then be able to finish it. Even when everything goes wrong, you just keep swimming. So that was the idea.
Eduardo, tell us about your training experience and how the coaching happened and those things.
Okay, my training experience has been a little bit different because Nora lives in Mexico and I live in Peru. So it was a remote treatment, a remote training that I received from her. Yes, she has a team. The name of the team is the Canaleros in Spanish, which in English means the persons that swims channels. The difficulty that I found is that if you are not a focused swimmer, if you are not a committed person, of course you won't make it. Because I swim by myself. I mean, I am not part, I don't have a team here in Peru that swims next to me in the other lanes. I wake up 4:30 a.m. I am at the pool 5 a.m. I have to swim until 6:30 or 6:45. Then I have to go work, and then probably at some 2 days a week I have to do some yoga, and then go to the ocean Saturdays and Sundays because normally I swim in the pool Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 4,000 K. Saturdays go to the ocean and repeat 4,000 K, and Sundays go to the ocean. I swim around 10 K. That is a total of 28, almost 30 kilometers. Monday is free. And about the technique, Yes, during the session or during every session of training at the pool, of course, we had drills of technique to improve your technique or to keep it, you know. And something important to mention is also that every around 4 or 3 months prior to the big swim, we had to go to the ocean and swim an 8 hour swim in the ocean, taking count of the strokes per minute, what we eat every 30 or 45 minutes, depending of the temperature of the water. And of course, I paid Nora because that's her. She lives out of it, out of it. So what else? Yes, and I think it worked for me because I was very focused on what I wanted to do.
And were you talking to Nora by email every day, every week? Were you talking by phone? Where was a group of you or just you?
No, it is just me. It was just me and her because she gave me the sessions of treatment of trainings. There is an application on the phone that is called Training Peaks. So she sent me the sessions on the phone, and I also had it on the email. And probably every 1 or 2 weeks we had to talk because she was very concerned about not concerned, but she was very worried about my trainings, no? And of course I was very focused on that, of course, because to train by yourself is difficult.
Paul, tell us about your actual swim. I don't care about the water and how much difficulty you had, anything like that. I want to know who was on the boat,
Mm.
who was managing your crew, and whether they were telling you the truth, lying to you, being really nice, or kicking you, or all the above.
So I've been very careful picking my crew because I didn't want three of the same people. So everybody brings something different in me. So I needed some mental support. I needed somebody who could look at the stroke and maybe give a few tips. I needed somebody with a lot of energy just to cheer me on, and somebody who stays calm just to stay in control. So the calm person would have been Marcus Austin from the Myrtleville Swimmers. Brian Foster was on my boat. He was full of energy, just 16 hours dancing, cheering, and driving me on. He was actually the same person who motivated me to sign up for the North Channel because he was doing his own training, and he said, "Oh, we can do the training together." So I really wanted to have him with me. And there was Olga O'Sullivan that I did most of my training for the Triple Crown with, so for Galway Bay and Fastnets. So we slowly with Olga I increased my distance from doing 5K to then the channel. So I picked them really carefully because they all had a different influence on my swimming and different motivation to get me going. So the crew, first of all, Brian made a playlist because happy swimmer, happy crew, they say. Brian made a fantastic playlist with a lot of 80s music, and the atmosphere on the boat was electric. Like they were dancing, they were having a good time, and every time I look aside, they were dancing, or they held up a sign with a jellyfish or some jokes, and that really helped because in my mind I had no clue. I didn't count my feet, so no clue how long I was in or how long I had to go to Scotland. I could only tell by the sun getting lower in the sky. I knew when it was 9 o'clock that I was swimming for about 13, 14 hours because I knew by how low the sun was. I said, I thought I was in there for 10, 12 hours. But when the sun went down, I said, oh no, the swim is taking way longer than I thought. But then again, I had no doubt that I was going to finish it. In the end, it was 16 hours, but I think I had a few more hours in me. So the crew really was most important. What the crew did was into my head. I was happy. I was confident. I was having a good time. There was one time in the swim that I requested a double. I did a few strokes fly. We just had fun. It was a fun day out, and yeah, they were pushing me, but in a good way, you know. The captain sometimes asks, as you know, to give a bit of a power hour. So they that's always a message that's tough to deliver, and then they did that very well. As a Marcus asking a calm question, and yeah, and then if Olga says, "Oh, we need you to do a bit more, it's one stroke more a minute," and then oh yeah, that's sure. Like she knows that I can do it, so no, that was good. So my crew was yeah, 16 hours of energy. That's exactly what I needed, you know.
So it's probably worth mentioning that Marcus is a little bit over the age of 50. Brian was about 17. Olga's somewhere between the two. Brian was the second person and first man ever to do a North Channel double, so he knew something about the water. Olga had previously done the Della Rata, and then of course they both knew the organizing group of Infinity, so they were able to relate very well to the pilot and observer and things like that. So that's
the one thing I forgot my onshore crew, but it's not well. There was of course the WhatsApp group, but there was Michael Payne who swam the North Channel the day before, and they were there before the swim. Because if you jump from the boat, you swim to the rocks to start your swim, but it's not very clear where you have to swim to. You kind of there's a heap of rocks, and they were there just guiding me and cheering me on, and that was really good. So yeah, I see Michael Payne and his mom and dad were there, and they're actually part of the crew as well.
okay. Eduardo, talk to us about your boat trips. Who was on the boat?
In my last trip was Nora Toledano, which is my coach, of course. I always try to take her with us, and my wife. Nora is in charge of the technical part. She counts the strokes, but my wife is my feeder. She's the one who prepares what I eat to get it warm if the water is too cold. And they make such a good team, the both of them. And they've been with me most of my Ocean Sevens, the both of them together. But in my last trip, I also had a third crew, but it was a flag, the flag of Peru. It was signed by 200 swimmers that make a swim meet to take money and to support my trip. So it was not a person, but it was a Peruvian flag signed by 200 swimmers that I took with me on the boat. And as I saw my wife, as I was seeing my wife and Nora, I also was seeing my flag. So under my point of view, under my point of view, that was also part of my crew. Very important to me.
And was your wife telling you were wonderful and Nora was kicking you, or was the other way around?
No, both of them was telling me the truth. I am the kind of swimmer that prefers to have all the information. But normally Nora waits until I am at the half of the swim, at the middle, and then she tells me, okay, we are at the half. No, part of just to know that I am improving. Normally she has a whiteboard, and she writes there, for example, the temperature of the water, the hour, the time that it is at the moment, how far are we from the half if we haven't done it yet. Messages from Peru and from Mexico, from friends that swims also that are checking the tracking me, and different messages that will help me, to the difficult moments.
Paul, looking back, I'll give some observations and I'll ask you to react. During your preparation, you were living very close to the ocean. We're about 10 minutes drive from Sandy Cove Island. You were able to swim in the ocean with 20 other marathoners, whether you wanted it or not. Probably many times there were 10 English Channel swimmers training with you in the ocean. You had a group in the pool. How important was being surrounded by people for yourself? Can you imagine being alone?
No, I heard somebody saying this recently that swim alone on purpose because you're gonna be alone on your big swim in your channel. But yeah, you might be in the water on your own most of the time, but your crew is there. You're not alone. I don't think anybody, unless you really have no other possibility, but you shouldn't go through this training alone. It's such a massive thing to take on, and first of all, you need people to hold you accountable for the training you're doing. But then like I did an 8 hour swim in around Sandy Cove, just around and around and around, and it was a great day. There was a bit of rain. It was miserable. Like you wouldn't go for fun. And the water was 12 degrees or a bit warmer, and I swam 16 hours around the no 16 hours, 8 hours, 16 laps, and there was none of those laps I swam alone. If those people not turned up every hour to get me through it, I wouldn't have made that 8 hour swim. It wasn't just a training swim, but then 8 hours in that temperature is a long time. And it really, every time seeing this smiley face beside me just kept me going for another lap and another lap. Yeah, hugely important. And the people that were in my group with Elise that year, they're still consider them as my best friends in Ireland. So we've been through this together, and we created a bond that will always be there. So yeah, that's fantastic now to have as an extra bonus.
One of the things that's quite apparent is that the people in Southeast England have a very high percentage completion of the English Channel. One of the reasons is that they can react quickly when the weather's good. It's not like coming from Australia with 2 days notice. And the other reason is most of them are meeting down at Dover for, 60, 70 people on the Dover beach training together and laughing and crying together and encouraging each other. One of the stories from my time is that I used to carpool to the ocean, and you'd get up and it would be just a horrible morning. It'd be rainy and cold and nasty, and your friend was coming to pick you up. And you didn't have a choice. You had to get up and go with him because he was coming to get you. And it was worse if you were driving, because then he was expecting you to come and get him. And I do remember being part of many of these sort of teams of helping people do long swims at Sandy Cove. And you're right, you sign up for hour 5 or something, and you swim by the swimmer, and you can't help but look over and just, I don't know whether I ever smiled at you, Paul, but I wanted to make sure you knew I was there.
Yeah.
Eduardo, I mean, you were absolutely alone for most of your training, and I think it's one of the toughest things. Did you have moments where you just said, this is too lonely?
No, really, no. Thank God, no. But the thing is that, yes, I am get used to swim alone by myself in the pool, and when I go to the ocean, the same situation. But that I consider that was part of my mental preparation. I don't go to a special psychological sport preparation, but just to wake up at 4 a.m., get out of your house 4:30, go to the pool 5 a.m. and be by yourself. That's more than enough, I think. you know. And also, let me tell you something. When I was going to swim the North Channel, I had to make, I had to swim, I had to swim 8 hours under 14.5 degrees Celsius. And in Peru, the water is cold, but not that cold. So during the day, 5 a.m., the temperature of the water was 14, but as 2 hours later, it was 15.0, so it didn't work. So Nora told me, you have to swim at night. That's the only option you have. So I began to swim Friday, 11 p.m. and swam until Saturday, 7 a.m. And that was by myself with a kayak, of course, a kayak, and a very close friend of mine was next to me all the 8 hours. And we swam, and the temperature was always 14.3. So that was enough to complete the requirement to swim the North Channel. That was such a nice experience.
you both had, whether it was coaches or others around you, whether you liked it or not, you both had mentors who were experienced at all this stuff. There are some people who are going to be listening to this that are all alone. They're swimming in some small lake in the middle of America who don't know anybody and aren't connected. I just will let you know that there is a page on Open Waterpedia under the title of Mentors. And there are probably 50 people around the world, experienced channel swimmers, marathon swimmers, who have signed up to be mentors for free. This is very different than the coaching that Eduardo would have had. So the mentor is not the person making your weekly schedule and doing your stroke correction, but they are somebody to talk to. And what can happen now is you go on the internet and there's 50 different pieces of advice on things that have worked for other people. And if you're kind of all alone, it's hard to understand that all and make sense of it all. So what the mentor can do sometimes is talk to you and listen to your questions. And by that time, they'll know you a little bit, and they can say, you know, Paul, that's really somebody who's got 3 years that can spend all that time changing their stroke. You have 8 months. You don't have that opportunity, so forget that. Or they can say, Eduardo, I know it's not cold enough in Peru, so I went up to Northern Ireland and swam with the Infinity guys for a weekend, where the water was guaranteed to be cold, and that's how I did it. So there's all these things the mentors can do for you. The mentor can also help you understand what you might want in a paid coach, and they can also help you maybe understand different English Channel pilots and their personalities and those kinds of things. It's very difficult to get a recommendation for a pilot by email, but if you talk to a mentor, they might say, well, look, I swam with so and so and I crewed with so and so. This person is very gruff but very experienced. This person loves the swimmers to death, but maybe not the best at the tides. This person doesn't have a toilet on the boat for your mother. So, be careful. So, guys, I want to thank you very much. You may get some contacts from people around the world who are experimenting with different ways to train. Congratulations to you both on a successful career so far, and I'm sure you probably have some more coming.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eduardo.